Hello, Facebook friends. Marianne here. I'm reaching out because of two different things. Obviously, it's not me and my glamorous. It's me and my PJs. But maybe that's a good idea because right now this is a really grounded thing that I need to talk about. First of all, is a big shout out to Jacque Wynne. And I'm hoping, I've had some of her friends promise me they're going to play this for her. So Jacque, now I'm going to speak directly to you. I want you to know how deeply, deeply I appreciate you. And I know my parents, John and Deborah, are gone, but I also will never, ever forget the story you shared at my mom's funeral about how you and your husband, Toddy Wynne, came back from your long, several-month glamorous trip around the world, and you found out that my parents had been socially isolated because they adopted me. And the fact that you decide to stay in solidarity with them, throw a party with them, hold their hands, and say that you are stood beside their decision to interracially adopt a child. What you did helped take them out of social isolation, and you helped them be able to be re-embraced by society. And I know a lot of people would roll their eyes at that, and that sounds so silly, but the truth is that we are social animals, and to be isolated was really painful for them. And the truth is that you all risked a whole lot, and you stood for what was right. And you helped my parents hold their heads high and to feel that they weren't alone. That was a big risk for somebody like you who had begun the Sweetheart Ball and, the Cattle Barons Ball and all the big social events that you've done. But you've always done it for the right reasons, not just because it was fun and glamorous, but because it was making a difference in our community in Dallas, Texas. I want you to know that you're seen, you've been heard, and you are so appreciated for the vital role in which you've played thus far in helping to shape our city. I don't know what Spirit has in plans for you right now. I know that you are struggling for your life. I know that you have been a fighter your whole life, and I know that you have absolutely, ignored all the barriers others have put out there. I know at one time you came up to me and you told me in secret when Barbara Marx Hubbard was sitting next to me and we were all sitting in the fashion district, Marianne, I have to share this with someone. I don't want to intimidate my date, so I'm not saying it in front of him, but I have to share it with someone. I just got an award for being one of the outstanding alumni in my class. Well, I'm going to send this out there, social media wise, worldwide. Anyone that follows me, Jacque Wynne was recognized as one of the outstanding alumni in her entire class at Southern Methodist University. And I also want this for the world to know that Jacque Wynne managed to do an amazing balancing act that very few get to do. Balancing her role as a socialite that was able to do a lot of powerful things and stand her ground for what was right and social justice. Thank you, Jacque. We need right now examples like you more than ever. And right now, as things are changing in our country, which are very scary, I look at people like you as a sterling example as to how I can also affect great change. So thank you. Thank you, Jacque, for all of that. And just as friend to friend, thank you for all the fun. Thank you for how you bring laughter. Thank you for how you have excitement. Thank you for how, your attitude when I reached out and I said, hey, I know that you had dual knee surgery, but have you seen how these people could sit and ski? I've been skiing down, blacks down in Aspen. And I know you said you missed it. You want to come out? And I want the world to know also, the minute I showed Jacque that people were doing that, she was like, I want to get out there on that mountain, and that we had plans for you to join us this coming winter to go down that mountain, and seated in that new gear. And I have no doubt that should God be willing, you end up there, that you will absolutely leave everybody back in the dust. Point is, Jacque, you have lived your life with so much exuberance, standing up for what was right, with an excitement for life that very few people possess. And that is the thing that I treasure so much. But thank you, Jacque. Thank you most of all for standing for my parents. Thank you. Thank you for sitting beside them and for saying that this little brown kid had every right to be there and to be part of the Thompson family. And this really resonates with me right now. And this is the other topic that I was going to briefly touch on. I saw in the news today that ICE arrested someone because her name was Maria Greerly, and they said her last name, Greerly, she doesn't look like a Greerly. And that worries me because, I'm a brown-skinned person adopted by a Thompson family, married into the Frank family. I know I don't look like a Thompson or a Frank. I don't know what's going to happen in my country. I don't know if I run into ICE officers to go, you don't look like a Thompson. You don't look like a Frank. I don't care if you're legal. We're going to take you in. But I know that so long as there are people like Jacque Wynne out there who are willing to make a stand, that our country is going to make it through this. But it's going to take all of us. And seeing that news reminded me today of how important it was that I put this, voice out there of appreciation for everything that you are, Jacque, because you were able to be on different sides of society. You're able to be in with all the, the waspy people, with all the people, many of them who are MAGA. You're willing to be in with all the socialites and the CEOs, and you are willing to hang out with people of every other frame of mind, including my gang of mismatched, crazy people trying to make a difference in this world. And that says a lot about you as a person because you see the human being. So I don't know what's going to happen, but I'll tell you what I told my father. You have spirit decides that your soul has more that needs to do in this world, you're going to continue the adventures that you've begun here. If spirit decides that your soul has an even greater miraculous adventure on the other side of the veil, you're going to encounter an adventure you can't even begin to dream. And either way, your soul is going to glow and shine and continue to thrive in ways that you least expect. So I'm sorry that you're dealing with this challenge, but please know that people like you continue to give people like me great hope that our society can heal. And I thank you for that from behalf of my parents, my family, and on behalf of me, because you certainly made my life a lot easier. Thank you, Jacque. I love you so much. And I hope to see you when I get back to Dallas. But if not, I will know that you are continuing to shine in ways that I can't begin to fathom. Lots of love, sister. Talk to you later.